Back in that time, early 2000,
Mm-hmm.
2002 and 3, the entire uh, the country was evolving on the economic front. Banks, the consumer business was booming. There was a low interest rate, and the banks were opening up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I got this opportunity, and I thought about it. I thought, this is going to be different, because I had this opportunity to become a product manager for mortgages.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've never studied finance really, although whilst I was
चलो try
doing
कर
my
लेते.
MBA, नहीं try नहीं करते, whilst I was doing my MBA, I realized that मैंने IT भी कर लिया, marketing भी कर लिया. What about finance? That is one area that's missing, and that will give me a trouble, because when I'm doing my marketing, costing and budgeting and all that, I need some numbers. I need to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
savvy and familiar with that. And that's when, in my final semester, project wala year, I went and took on a capital market entity, a research paper, a strategic business paper on a capital market entity. So I went into a proper brokerage house, looked at the trading floor, spent time on the forex desk. How do they work? What do they do? Understood their terminologies. I worked on the trading desks. So, spending that whole time, putting it in the form of a report, I sort of immersed myself into that area, and it helped me. And that's when I got this opportunity of looking at mortgages. I said, okay, I mean, there's no rocket science really.
Yeah, yeah.
So finance, I've done that. I've done an A-rated report on finance, and I got a good vote.
Uh-huh.
So I said, if I can understand the capital markets, the banking industry
Yeah.
is not that different. But you see, at the core of it, who's the user? It's people. It's people behavior. You need to understand. It's consumers. And literature actually gives you a deeper understanding into human psyche.
The masters in English kicks in.
So that gave me an insight. I said, यार, I mean, एक ही आदमी है जिसने बैंकिंग सर्विसेज भी यूज़ करनी है, उसने इंटरनेट भी यूज़ करना है, उसने कुकिंग ऑयल भी घर के लिए लेना है, उसने चाय
Yeah.
भी लेनी है. So it's the same consumer who is interacting with the various brands, but their mind frame, they're in a
Different
different
aspect of
mind
their lives.
frame. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So they will react in similar ways. They have similar needs. And humans across the world are the same.
Yeah.
They react to pain, sadness, happiness. You have similar feelings.
Yeah.
So jealousy and
Yeah,
all
yeah, yeah.
that. So that's why I said, yeah, user कौन होएगा? Mortgage. People who want to buy homes,
Yeah.
people who want to build homes, or people who want to improve their homes. So then I said, okay, I looked at Pakistan. I said, which are the banks that are already offering mortgages? There were few. I looked at what they're offering before I said yes to that job, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
And then I looked at the international market. One thing I've learned is, in Pakistan, because we're an emerging or developing market, there are blueprints available of the
previous,
developed
yeah.
world, which have to be adapted. Obviously, our culture is different, our people
Yeah,
are
yeah, yeah.
different, our lifestyles are different, value system. So it has to connect with the value system. So it has to be adapted that way. But those things have been done, really.
Yeah.
So I looked at and when I started looking at Fannie Mae and Ginnie Mae and AXA and various other financial houses offering mortgages, I said, yeah, okay, we're here at a very nascent
Yeah.
stage. We have just vanilla products. And
Yeah.
then I said, okay, now I know I can do that.
Yeah.
So I just took on that job. And those 15 days before I said yes, I had done my homework.
Uh-huh.
So when I landed, I took on things. एक तो operational side था जो कि बहुत मुश्किल था. Going to the consumer ops department, going to the sales walas
Yeah.
and all. But what helped me here was the technology, the consumer understanding,
Yeah.
the international, the studying bit. And, I started working initial product, and I started adding value to it. How do you add value? One rule which I would say Shaukat Tareen had also, being the CEO of Union Bank, he had in the first few meetings, I realized what's happening when I did my competitor analysis and the other sales heads की meetings होती थी and my monthly meeting होती थी. First meeting I attended as a viewer or audience rather. And I saw what's transpiring. So, the auto sales wala head said, you need to reduce the rates because bank so and this bank are giving auto loans at 6% and 6.5% and 7%. And he said, no, this is not right. You can't reduce price. I'm not going to. He said, then sales nahi ho sakti. And I was a silent spectator there, and I realized, isn't that what all brands do?
Yeah.
What we were taught as brand
Custodians,
students of brand management and brand theory, that price is the last P to tweak. And doesn't help the brand. It kills the business, really.
Yeah.
Because what happens is when you start reducing your own earning or your own margin, because you're letting go of the price, it means you're kind of reducing your margin. So your bottom line is eroded. You will not be able to hire quality staff. You will not be able to offer quality services, and that will compromise the quality of your offering. That's the last P to tweak. You add value, you renovate the brand, you rejuvenate it, you create a new brand, you invest in that brand. Something you engage, you have a brand narrative around it. So, I was sitting and hearing this. He didn't know about brands, but he said कि नहीं ये नहीं होगा, price नहीं हिलनी चाहिए, बेचना चाहिए. And that's where I got my cue. I said, price नहीं हिलनी चाहिए, बिल्कुल सही. And I went back to the drawing board. I said, यार आज हम ये वाली offering कर रहे हैं. It's a vanilla product. Let's look at the audience. I did a small research, a 3-month project with AC Nielsen at that time, to understand why and what are the drivers, what are the reasons that people buy a house, want to buy a house, own a house, or whatever. Why would they come to the bank to opt for mortgage? What would make them opt? What would our pitch be? And obviously that insight helped me develop a pitch. So after that insight, I said, okay.
But what did you find out?
I found out that people, Pakistani kya karte hain, committees dalte hain, and how they save, how they collect money. And yes, the dream house. And I got one, जो कि internationally भी use हो चुका है, and I thought that can also be a good pitch, but we need to add more to it. कि, you pay one rental or you pay one installment. One rental will take you away from owning your own house, whereas one installment will bring you closer.
Yeah.
So it's the same amount. Either you pay a rental or you pay an installment. The other thing, in Pakistan, property always appreciates. Pakistanis love to own property.
Yeah.
They want to give property to their children.
Yes.
Inheritance.
Yeah.
Ye sari things kind of give me the pulse of my pitch.
But you needed the data to kind of back it up.
Obviously.
Yeah.
That you need to have that confidence कि yes, this is, ये आपका एक gut feel होता है, but बहुत सारी चीज़ें आपको along the way, you whilst you're sitting in a qualitative focus group, whilst you're looking at the numbers, answers to your questions, the choices, it just kind of sinks in, and then it gives you more confidence in what should be the priority pitch, what could be the follow-up story, and how do you go about it. So one thing I did was, and the other thing, the committee thing. जब committee खुलती, you plan, before the committee opens up, you have a plan.
Yeah.
What to do with that.
Yeah.
It's always
इसीलिए तो आप डालते. Right?
So, although that's the worst kind of saving.
Yeah.
But having said that, I said, यार Pakistanis यही करते हैं. Even the men do that, and the men do it more than women.
Yeah.
So, and workspaces में. So, that gave me the idea of balloon payment. Introducing balloon payments. उस वक्त तक there was no such concept of balloon payment. So in a year, if you pay X amount towards your loan, we will not charge you a penalty. Because normally you pay off your loan, you're penalized for that.
Yeah.
So Oh, there was a really negative वो कि दिमाग खराब है, we will not charge
Leaving money on the
penalty,
floor, yeah.
लोग हमारे ख़त्म कर देंगे. I said, okay, hang on. Let's do the number crunching. You know, today you have a customer at 8.5%
Yeah.
or 8% per annum के हिसाब से, and it's a compounded वो. So, if every year the current customer base, the total customer base opts for a balloon payment, how much will it affect us? What numbers?
Yeah.
Then 50% of our, we did the stress tests
testing,
on
yeah.
Excel. Okay, वो सब करा, and we got very minuscule impact.
Huh.
Because जितना भी करता है वो balloon payment, हमने option रखा 5%, 3%, 1%, you know,
Yeah.
उसमें एक percentage डालते हैं. So we control that amount from that perspective. So वो वहाँ we got the idea how to do the formulas.
But
and
would you
whatnot.
not also like account this for minimizing risk then? Like, wouldn't your risk factor go down because you've enabled balloon payments?
Yes, it does.
Was that not
But
something that nobody...
वो pitch नहीं, वो internally नहीं fly करी.
Ah, okay.
ठीक है. In spite of the fact कि भाई attrition हो जाएगी, loan 7% वाले के पास चला जाएगा.
Yeah.
They will, because the other bank will pay off. तो वो अपने जेब से penalty नहीं दे रहा. Other bank will top up that amount that they've paid the penalty when the loan is transferred from one bank to another.
bank, yeah.
तो वो जो penalty होती है तो bank ले लेता है ना.
Yeah, yeah.
The other bank. So in spite of that, खैर वो working उसके against offset की कि if these so many people go away, what will be the impact and how it's beneficial for us to hold them and offer this.
Yeah.
And this, but उसके ऊपर भी क्या डाला था कि नहीं आप advertise इसको नहीं करेंगे. I was like, okay, I want to advertise, but let me do this. So, you know, we had to go through this whole negotiation process with the management. And then I went down to my salespeople and I said, you are going to use it as your sales pitch. Nobody else is doing it right now.
Yeah.
So that helped. So इस तरह की बहुत सारे steps होते हैं. You get the consumer insight. And for banks, the best thing is कि आपका customer आपके पास बैठा है.
Yeah.
You can engage with them, you can talk to them, you can learn about them. And today, your credit card users, the kind of data that you have about the customer, you don't even need to look at other things. You don't need to go into research. You just take out your database and see how they're behaving.
Yeah, but it's also like, then you realize it's a no-brainer, right? Also, that like that's how bank assurance is the highest in the insurance portfolio.
Although, honestly speaking, that's again not an investment.
Yeah,
it's packaged as
many
an investment.
fallacies to break right now.